Assalamu alaikum dear students. Today inshallah we are going to talk about the second stage of the compilation of hadith. And usually I don't know, teachers teach in a different way and they have their own perspectives, but as I believe we should go in the smooth three stages, because the first stage in which companions and Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they both were alive and they were writing the hadith, and they were securing and preserving the hadith. That was the different scenario as I have discussed yesterday in the previous video. But today I would be discussing about the second stage of the hadith. That was the time of companions and tabaeern. Now, means tabaeens were, I told you that tabaeern or tabaun, some people call them tabaun also, tabaeern or tabaun, they were the students of the companions. So that was the time when some of the companions were alive and tabaeern were learning from the companions, and they were clearing their concepts about hadith. So many of them were writing the hadith from their teachers, and there were specific teachers for the hadith named Hazrat Abdullah ibn Abbas, Hazrat Abdullah bin Jafar, and Hazrat Abdullah bin Amr, Abdullah bin Umar. So these were the young companions, and they were learning they had learned the hadith from the senior companions, and now they were teaching Hazrat Abu Huraira, Abdullah bin Jabir. So these all the companions were teaching the hadith to the upcoming generations that was who were tabaeern. So now in the first stage, if you will see closely, there was no need for the judgment or the scrutiny or the examination of the hadith, because Prophet Muhammad ﷺ himself was alive. So there was no chance of mistake. Right? So in the same way, if you will see, when companions were alive and they were teaching to the tabaeern, still there was no need to judge or the scrutiny or scrutinize the hadith, because companions were alive and all the companions were reliable and they were truthful and they were sadiq and ameen. So there was no need to scrutiny to get the scrutiny of the hadith. So these both in both of the stages, the work on the examining the hadith or the scrutiny of the hadith had not been done, right? But like people who were learning, who were expert of the hadith, who were called muhaddithin, the people who are expert in the ilmul hadith or the knowledge of the hadith, they are called muhaddithin, the expert of the hadith. But muhaddithin felt to distribute the matter of the hadith, the content of the hadith into two parts. So content of the hadith was into two parts. One part was sanad and other part was Matn. Right? Sanad was the chain of the narrators, means the name of the people, and Matn was the text of the, means content of the hadith. So in this way they just distributed it. Now the work which has been done during the second stage, the work, the name of that work is called the work Musnad and Musannaf. You know, in exam and past paper, if you will see the question, you will find out. I will write in the description, I will write the detailed answer of Musnad Musannaf also, and I will write the year also in which Musnad and Musannaf question came. So Musnad and Musannaf, like the detailed question comes in a form that write the detailed account of the Musnad and Musannaf collections of hadith, full-fledged 10 marks answer, right? So in this stage, in the second stage, only two things, the work on these two things happened, Musnad and Musannaf. Now, we need to know, being a student, we need to know that what is the Musnad collection and what is the Musannaf collection. And these are not the types of hadith, these are not the classifications of the hadith. This is only the collection or the pattern of the books. Collection or the pattern of the books, the way in which the books were written. Pattern of the book, yeah, right? So these were the pattern of the books, that in the way they chose to write the books, right? So Musannaf, the kind of work in which the Ahadith are assembled together according to the theme, is called Musannaf. Means where the Ahadith are written as per the topic, the topical Ahadith. They are the topical books of Ahadith are called Musannaf collection, right? I can give you the simple example. You use red spot past papers, you use marking scheme, you use past paper booklet. There are so many past paper booklets and marking scheme, and the famous one is red spot, so I am giving the example of that. So if they are based on yearly questions. When you try to find out some question from the yearly past paper, you might feel the difficulty in that, because you need to find out in all the questions that which question is based on salah, which question is based on Saum. So when you will be having the topical past paper, it becomes easy for you to find out the question. So Musannaf collection is somehow helpful to work on the theme of the Hadith, because in this way it was very easy to find the Hadith in the Musannaf collection. The literal meaning of Musannaf is divided up. When we take out the meaning of it, the literal meaning of Musannaf is the divided up, because it is divided because it divides the Hadith according to their themes. The compilers examined the Matn rather than the Isnad. Means they were talking about the Matn only, text only. If Hadith is based on the purity, it must be under the topic of the purity. Whether it is narrated by Hazrat Abu Bakr, whether it is narrated by Hazrat Abu Huraira, Hazrat Aisha, or any other companion. So name of the narrator is not having any importance in these sort of books. But the topic was important. That if the Hadith is based on purity, it must be under the category of purity, whether it is narrated by any of the companion. I hope it is clear. So the first organized work of Islamic scholars called Mussanafs or book were organized topic wise. These were mainly manuscripts that had developed during the first 2 centuries of Islam and were arranged into chapters dealing with the different legal or ritual questions, for examples, prayer, fasting, inheritance, and other law concerning issues, the Muslim community, etc. The earliest Musannaf books are almost entirely lost, with the exception of some like 1 or 2 maybe, and the most important ones. The Musannaf of Waki is the most important name in this regard. The Musannaf of Waki is the most important name in the Musannaf collection and is known to us only through the references, because we do not, this book has also not been intact and it is lost also, but we know some of the references. Some of the chapters of Musannaf Abu Bakr and like Razzaq are still intact in this regard. However, the most authoritative collection of Musannaf is Muwatta Imam Malik. I hope you know about Imam Malik. Imam Malik was one of the tabaeern, and he was the mujtahid also. He was not only, Imam Malik was not only the muhaddis, but he was also the mujtahid. Muhaddis and mujtahid. Right? His name is very important in the 4 Aimma also, who are the famous scholars and 4 school of thoughts. So one school of thought is based on Imam Malik also. So he was the one who wrote the book Muwatta Imam Malik, which is still intact, and that is the most famous book in regard. The best example of Musannaf collection of the time of the tabaeern is Muwatta Imam Malik. And you know that after in the 3rd stage, when Sahih Sitta were compiled, so Muwatta Imam Malik was the main book from which the references were taken, and that was the best book to help the other compilers to compile their books. They all took the reference from Muwatta Imam Malik because it was still intact. So it was completed by Imam Malik ibn Anas, and he was the student of Imam Nafi. Imam Malik spent 40 years altogether. He spent 40 years only to gather the book, to write the Ahadith. Right? The Muwatta literally means the leveled path. The literal meaning of Muwatta is, Muwatta means leveled path, the balanced path, right? That is easier to tread, which is termed as the legal textbook. For it, in the employed Ahadith together with the Quran to establish points of legal teachings and legal discussions done by him were based on deductions from the Quran, Sunnah and Ijma. Now, legal scholars differ to the Musannaf collections to know legal opinions of the companions and successors, and Hadith critics use them as evidence when establishing the authenticity of the narrations begin the part of the chain of the Hadith. Now, the Musnad meaning supported because it lists them under the names of the various companions. Now, the Musannaf collection is the book which is written under the names of the chapters, and Musnad collection is the book in which the hadiths are gathered under the name of the companions. Like if some of the hadiths are written by Abu Huraira, is Hazrat Abu Huraira, like all hadiths which are narrated by Hazrat Abu Huraira will be written under the topic of Hazrat Abu Huraira. Whether they are based on purity, whether they are based on faith, whether they are based on any other topic, the topic does not matter in Musnad collection, right? Musnad collection is based only on the name of the narrator. Now, the theme of the hadith is based on any other criteria that does not matter, right? Now, in the late 2nd, early 3rd century, 300 after Hijrah, there was a shift towards the Musnad collection and were arranged according to the Isnad. All the Ahadith narrated from a certain companion would fall into one chapter, and all those from another would fall in the another chapter. The Musnad compilations were divided into chapters whose headings were identified by the name of a particular companion, such as Ahadith of Hazrat Abu Bakr, Ahadith of Hazrat Ali ibn Abi Talib, Ahadith of Hazrat Abu Huraira, and so on. Muslims who were concerned with understanding legal teachings in the Ahadith and not find it an easy collection to use because it only divided the Ahadith according to the name of the first transmitter. At this time, Ahmad bin Hanbal was active making this collection. His Musnad consists of 27,700 ahadith. 27,700 ahadith. Who? Musnad Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal. Right? This is not humble. This is Hanbal. So in this way, we can figure out that two collection in Musannaf collection, the most intact collection is Muwatta Imam Malik, and in Musnad collection the most intact was Musnad Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal. Now they both are useful because all the Sahih Sitta were compiled as per the criteria of Musannaf collection, and Musnad collection was very useful in the third stage of the Hadith compilation, because from there Muhaddithin took the chain of the transmitter to scrutinize the hadith and to judge the hadith. So both of the collections were very useful as per their timings, but they both were happened in the second stage of the hadith collection, means the time of tabaeern. It means that Imam Malik and Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal, they both were considered as amongst the tabaeern. I hope beta the second stage is clear. If you are unable to understand, please do ask me the questions, and I will be sharing the full-fledged answer of Musannaf collection in the description. Jazakumullahu khair.